The net of all this is paper's bad, right? We need to move away from paper. Paper is how we documented things, tracked things 50, 80, 100 years ago, right? It was all on paper. And in today's world, with the pace at which we're moving at, it's just impossible to use paper. The amount of data points that come back to leadership, to senior managers, to middle managers, managers on the floor, the amount of data that comes back is impossible to not just log, but analyze using paper. And this is, it doesn't get better than this, right? So this is a QA administrator. It's the start of the morning. They have there's no time to put the car keys away. There's a can of energy drink. I think that's a monster drink. This is 8:30 in the morning. He is all set. He is all set to put all this information, a desk full of information, into a solution. And I know you're all thinking, why would that person do that, right? And you can see these boxes. It's kind of like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. You can see they're about to fall because it's crammed with paperwork. We have to move away from this kind of situation, because two things. One is that it's more than likely as they double type the stuff in, there's going to be errors. And two is this is not actionable. It's just residing on paper. It's really not actionable. It's not graphing it. It's not interpreting it. It's not giving feedback to the operators. It's not providing insights. It's not making recommendations. It's doing none of that. It's just static, what I call dead data. It's just sitting on paper. So what we're really trying to do is move away to a world where you're looking at red, yellow, green, right? So everything you do is kind of like a dashboard in your car. If everything is fine, you don't get any alerts, right? If you get a yellow or a red, something is up. To a point where operators, supervisors, lead technicians, lead maintenance techs can manage by exception, right? They're looking at everything's fine if it's green, if it's red or yellow. I know what's going on and I need to take action. So what we've also seen is it's great having these solutions that replace paper, but a lot of questions we get is, well, but our equipment is like 15 years old. We have relays, we have very old PLCs, we have mechanical lines. Well, there's an entire world of what we call plug and play sensors out there. In fact, we've deployed thousands of these in the field where you can switch them on. They're battery operated. They work for about a year on that battery. It's a $10 battery and you replace the batteries every year. And they collect signals, right? They can count product. They can measure things. They can track if your machines are up or down. And these are typically deployed in under an hour. And yes, you heard me correct. It's under an hour, right? So I can deploy these two nodes, as you see here. These are wireless. They use IoT, so very secure. They use radio, not Wi-Fi, so there's no hacking to be done. It's just industrial radio. But what it means is in under an hour, I can walk into a plant, look at a line, measure the in count, measure the out count, measure the status of the equipment, and I'm up and running, right? In a paperless environment, I'm getting that rich data in real time, back to where it needs to be. And here's an example of the plethora of sensors, whether it's temperature, humidity sensors, counting in and out, a laser to measure, thickness, preventative maintenance in terms of vibration monitoring, right? It uses machine learning to figure out if the bearings are wearing out more. Wireless temperature probe. If you do a temperature check on food or anything else, you can stick the wireless temperature probe in there. You can weigh your samples. You can scan in and out of the line to measure your, the number of people on the line. These are all IoT-driven solutions that are basically plug and play with paperless solutions. So it really opens up the world to, you're not relying on equipment or massive capital expenditure to get some of these signals back in or to the managers who can, and the folks that can make that or do that analysis. And on the left side, what you see is the before, which is, you go up to these whiteboards and you kind of write stuff every 30 minutes. And on the right side, what you see is everything on the left side on that huge board is replaced by what you see on the right side on a tablet or a screen, right? Everything, right? Are we ahead or behind? Is it red or green? How many cases have we made? How many cases are left? How many people are on the line? What's my downtime so far? What's my top downtime? What's my shift quantity? What's my run quantity? All that is within a what I call it, an 11-inch plus screen.